Hey crafty friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Susie. If you're new here, thanks so much for joining. Today and tomorrow are both an exciting day here at Susie on the Farm. Today is the new Roycycled Decoupage paper release and tomorrow is IOD. I can't show you the IOD yet, but for now, in today's video, I'm going to show you all the new Roycycled papers and we're going to do some fun projects with them. So let's go ahead and get started. Burlap Roses, Typography Love, Paintable Floral, Photojournal Masterboard, Patina Roses, Teal Texture, and finally Botanical Masterboard. Y'all, I'm like a kid at Christmas with all these new papers. They are all so beautiful. So I have a bunch of trays that I want to make over today. These are two that I had done in the past, and I honestly, one of them I didn't do a great job. The other one, I just think the content matter wasn't great, and they didn't sell. So I'm definitely going to redo these, and to begin with, I just sanded them down really smooth. I'm going to give all my trays at least one, some of them two, depending on how much is underneath. So we can start with a white backdrop. And the first paper that I'm going to use is the Burlap Roses. This one has two different sizes. It's the same image, but one side's blown up, one side's like a smaller version. I'm going to use the bigger version today, and I have this I'm not sure, some kind of metal platter that I had in my stash, and it's a circle, and cutting a perfect circle is quite difficult. So all I'm going to do with this instead is tear these edges. As you can see, I went around with my fingernail just kind of scoring where I wanted the line to be, and now I'm taking a artist brush with some water on it, and I'm just wetting my decoupage paper, and then I hold my fingers on the part that I definitely want to keep and pull away while it's wet, and it makes a perfect organic tear. And now I'm just placing it where I want it inside my platter. And the key here is to keep it straight as you go. So I keep one hand down on it. I get it placed where I want it. I keep one hand down on it, and then I do my starter strip. I'm going to use liquid patina with all my decoupaging today because it's right here and it's very easy to use. I love using this for decoupage. So I did that starter strip, and then I will just work my way down. I'll do a little bit at a time. I like to mist my paper. I have virtually no wrinkles when I do it that way. Then I just smooth it out a little bit with my hand and do another coat of liquid patina on top, and I will work my way all the way down until I get this completely decoupaged. And I was going to distress this one, but I'm distressing a lot throughout this video, and this one looks so perfect and beautiful with that white, so I didn't distress it. It's already sealed with the liquid patina, but I really like the buttery smooth that the wax gives, so I just went over it with a quick coat of clear wax, and then this one is complete. So I promise we are going to do something besides trays today, but I do have quite a few. So for this one, this is the one that was that light blue and had the sheep on it. So I'm going to use the Patina Roses on it. I'm going to do the same exact technique. I'll score it here with my fingers. I'm going to speed this up because y'all just watched me do this exact same process, and I'm doing it a lot in this video, so I know you don't need to see it over and over again, and you've seen me do it many times. So I'm going to tear this one as well, and then I'm going to do that same technique. And I do want to remind y'all that all of these papers are now available at susieonthefarm.com. These and many more beautiful Roycycled papers, along with all the IOD, DIY paints and fusion paint if you are needing something for your projects. Once this decoupage paper was completely dry, I had to decide on the color, and I knew I wanted to go with a green, and I settled on Fancy Farm Girl. There was a little bit of a green in there that was similar, and I haven't ever used this color, and I wanted to. So because of that white base down there, I really only had to do one coat. And the tearing or cutting really wouldn't have mattered here because I'm going to carefully cut in next to the decoupage paper so there is a straight line there. So I did 1.5 coats, and now I'm going to distress this. Now I painted all these trays on Saturday. I took Sunday off and I came in on Monday to finish these up. So that white paint was not sealed other than where I did the liquid patina putting down the paper. But it wasn't sealed, but it had cured for a couple of days. And I really didn't want to get back down to that light blue, although now that I'm thinking about it, I think it would have been okay. It would have just added a little bit more dimension to it. But I didn't have any problem only distressing back to the white underneath. Sealed it with some clear wax, and look at the vibrant, beautiful colors in this paper. And I feel like that Fancy Farm Girl just accentuates it even more. Okay, let's do something besides a tray. So I have this little galvanized bucket. It's already got the jute twine around the top, and I want to use the botanical masterboard. I really didn't have a project specifically for this one, but I definitely wanted to use it because I love sunflowers and it's getting to be that season. So I just picked out one here that I thought fit nicely. I'm going to cut it down just a little bit, and I'm also going to save those words because there's not going to be room for them. So I'm going to use those in something else. I use all of my decoupage scraps one way or another. Eventually, y'all have seen my massive stash of them. I never throw anything away. So for this one, first thing I'm going to do, because I don't want to paint the galvanized tin, I am going to paint the back of the decoupage paper instead. So I'm just using some white swan, one even coat of white swan on the back of this. I'm going to let it dry. And then once it's dry, the paint actually makes your paper, a good bit thicker. And I'm going to fussy cut out this. Now this is quite a detailed image, and you don't have to get absolutely perfect when fussy cutting. I just move my paper around and use my scissors as I go and just get as close as you can. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. And there's lots of longer stems up there at the top. I do end up losing most of those. There's just not room for them. So I'm going to get this all cut out, and then I'm going to use the liquid patina again to put this onto my little galvanized bucket. I'm just going to line it up and see, there's where I'm actually losing those. I thought I would have room, but I did not. I'm going to just put the liquid patina all over the bucket. Don't worry, this does dry crystal clear. Matter of fact, that's the name of it, crystal clear liquid patina. I will take a baby wipe once I'm done and get any excess off on the sides. That's definitely not needed, just so there's no change in the sheen from the metal there. So I'm going to get this all down flat. Let it dry. Like I said, I'm going to wipe off all that excess liquid patina. And then this one's done. That is so easy. Such an easy transformation. Took this plain galvanized bucket, and now it's a cute sunflower decor. And I already had a beautiful place in the store with sunflowers set up that it went perfectly into. Back to our trays. So I'm not going to make you guys watch me decoupage these two, but I'm going to use the Paintable floral, and then I'm going to use the teal textures on this one. This one gave me fits, y'all. So I put the teal texture down, I ripped it, and now I'm painting this with Little Black Dress. I just felt like black went better with it than the white, and I am just kind of, going around the pattern of the tray with the paint as well. So once it was all painted, I'm going to be honest, I hated it. But I'm going to distress it. I'm not giving up on it. So I'm going to distress it, and it is going to come back down to that white. I'm going to go deeper, and I'm actually going to get back down to some of the metal, the silver plate underneath there as well. So I'm going to heavily, heavily distress it. I got it distressed, and I actually thought, okay, this might can work. What can I do with it? And y'all know that I've been trying to work through my stash of old transfers, and I don't know if y'all remember the Cheers transfer book. It had a bunch of wine stuff in it. I had several things in it I'd never used, and I found this image. I looked up what this means, and it actually means beverages. So it went perfectly with my tray, and because this is sealed with that liquid patina, it was very easy to put this transfer down. If you've never used one, they all come with this little plastic tool, and you just rub until the image releases onto your project. This one released super easy. I got it all transferred down, and then the last thing I did to this was seal it up with some clear wax. And y'all, I think this one actually turned out to be my favorite in this entire video. I love them all. I had a very hard time choosing, but I really just did not like this one until I put that transfer on there. It's not necessarily my style, but it's somebody's style, and I'm trying to sell things, and somebody is going to love this in their bar, kitchen, wherever. People love wine. I don't drink wine anymore, but I know a lot of people do. Well, sometimes I might have a glass, but very rarely, because I've worked so hard to get my diabetes under control, and it has too much sugar in it. So on to the paintable floral. The idea of this one is you can paint this paper. Now, I cannot paint. I'm a terrible artist. However, I can color pretty good, and I had these Posca paint pens that I had never used, so I'm just going to play with them. I'm going to take some pinks and purples and greens and just color. I'm outlining with the dark pink, filling in with a light pink, and then adding some purple in with it. And like I said, I am not an artist when it comes to things like this. I'm sure many of you are much more talented than I am at something like this, so y'all can really make this look incredible. In all honesty, though, I actually love the sepia look of it, so the next time I use this paper, I probably won't paint it, but I definitely wanted to demonstrate that to y'all today, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So once I got all the paint on here, I did go ahead and distress this one. I brought it back down to the silver underneath. So I didn't do too terrible of a job there. I think that looks pretty good. I definitely could have, if I could use a paintbrush and actual really great colors instead of just these primary color paint pens, probably could have done a better job, but I'm terrible at painting with a paintbrush. I know I've said that a dozen times, but it is really the truth. So I'm distressing this, and then to seal it, I want to tone down those colors just a little bit. So I thought I would try some white wax over it, and it was just the perfect touch. It took those colors and muted them down just the perfect amount once I wiped it back. And this one turned out really pretty. Is it perfect? No. Did I have loads of fun doing it? Absolutely. And I know y'all are going to be magnificent at this paintable floral paper. Anyway, I love how this one turned out. We've got one more tray to do, but we're going to take a break from trays here and do another little project. I got so excited when I saw the photo journal masterboard because if y'all don't know, I've been junk journaling and I just knew it would be perfect to make tags. When I got it, I didn't realize how big the images were. They were quite large. And I just happened to go to the thrift store yesterday and found this pack of larger tags. Now, I could have made tags these size, but I was at the thrift store and I found them, so I felt like it was a perfect project for this. So I'm using the actual tag to cut out these images that I want. I just love these vintage photographs and all of these backgrounds. So I just picked out a few. I think I had 5 tags, maybe 6. I picked out a few that would work well within them. I wanted to make sure and get her wings, and then I just cut them out to the size of the tags. Now, when you are doing paper to paper like this, you can actually use a glue stick, and that's all I'm going to do here. I'm going to use an Elmer's glue stick. It dries clear. It goes on purple, so you can make sure you got it everywhere, and then it dries clear. So I'm just loading this up with some Elmer's glue, and then I will press my decoupage paper into it and press it down really good. I may have to touch up some corners here and there when I get done, and you'll see me do that a little bit later on. So I'm going to glue all of these images down onto a tag. Once they're dry, I'm going to use my hole punch and go back and just punch those holes. I am going to reinforce the back of these, so I wanted to punch the holes before I lose them. And I didn't mean to zoom in so far here. Usually I have my camera on 0.5, and for some reason it was on 1. But that's okay. You guys can see these images really up close. So here I am just reinforcing the back. For this, I am using an art glitter glue. It's a little bit more expensive PVA glue, but it works really great. So I'm just using the back of, or the cover of my watercolor pad that I've been using for years. I have almost used the entire thing up. So I used the cover, and then I cut these down to match the size of the tag. I punched another hole into the back side. So now these are really sturdy. They can be used in home decor, and they can be used however you want to, really. To finish them off, I'm going to ink the edges. I did get me some Tim Holtz Distress ink, so I'm going to ink all those edges with my little blender tool. Inking the edges is really not a necessity, but I just feel like it really does the vintage feel. So I'm going to ink up all the edges, and I do have to glue down a few corners here and there. To finish these off, I'm going to just rip up some lace that I have and put a little lace on the top of the tags. You could use twine or ribbon, but I had some lace scraps near me, and so that's just what I ended up putting on these. And I didn't have enough of the white for one, so I ended up using a little bit of that green, which was also some ripped lace that I had. And how can you use these? You can use these in a lot of different ways. Of course, you can use them as journaling spots in your junk journals, which is most likely what I'm going to do with them. But you can use them in your decor too. Like I said, these are quite large images, and they look so good in your vignettes. I've styled them up here with a few. See how good they look? You can put them in your books as bookmarks. Just many, many different ways you can use these in with your vintage decor. my last project today, I have one more tray, and this one is quite large. I am going to use Typography Love on this one, and that gets all the decoupage papers. I've managed to do a project with all 7 new designs. So I'm going to do the same thing. I cut this down. I did cut this one straight. It's easy to cut, you know, straight lines for the most part. And I'm going to do the same decoupage technique that I have done over and over again in this video. I'm going to let it dry completely. And then for this one, I'm going to use this as more of a background image, kind of like Kindest Regards or some of the other IOD stamps. I'm going to use this decoupage paper. And in the interest of using up some of my transfer scraps, I had a couple pages left of the Botanist Journal. Now this is actually one large image that you put together, but it can also be cut up, layered, or used separately. So that's what I'm doing here. I just picked a page that had some florals on it, and it's so easy because this has been sealed with the liquid patina to transfer this down. And now I didn't like how square it was looking, so I did go ahead and get another page and cut out just a few more florals that I could piece here and there on the ends to not make it look like it was just a square image that I transferred on there. And you can do that with your transfers. You can cut them apart, you can use them however you want, you can layer them over the top of each other. So I just worked out how I like the placement and transferred the rest of these on here, and then I sealed. I did not distress this one because it was an ugly yellow underneath, so I sealed it all up with some clear wax, and this final tray is complete. And like I said, it's quite large, will be quite a statement piece in anyone's decor. I hope that y'all have enjoyed today's video and got lots of inspiration for using these new Roycycled Decoupage papers. They're available on my website if you're needing some. Let's see, tomorrow I will be going live at noon showing you all the new IOD products, and then tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central I do have a Whatnot sale, and it is all vintage junk, rusty, crusty, older stuff. So if you're into that kind of thing, be sure you go ahead and look through. You can make some pre-bids if you can't get it to the show, but I'd love to have y'all. We have so much fun over there on Whatnot hanging out. Let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite of today's projects. And just, yeah, leave me a comment. Be sure you like this video. Make sure you're subscribed. I post every Wednesday night at 6.